Good morning and welcome back to the Brick by Brick podcast with Ronald Paulius, where we look at the principles woven throughout our universe anyone could take advantage of to build a life worth living brick by brick. I got an awesome guest here, Areli. She's on the show. We met at Squad Up Summit. He was sharing a bunch of tips. I was taking notes. Areli, talk to us. Where are you from and where are you at right now?
So I'm from Richmond, Virginia. So this is home base for me. This is where I
Awesome.
buy. This is where I work. This is my stomping grounds.
Awesome, awesome. You're out in those sweet country roads. So,
Yeah,
Aureli,
I.
no,
Uh-huh.
no, you go on. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, yeah, I'm in the country, but there's a lot of city here, so this is where we work is in the city.
Awesome, awesome. Let's dive right into it. So, this episode, I want to just highlight your backstory. Let's hear about it because I got a bunch of listeners who they come from different backgrounds and they're not sure if they can get into real estate or what that looks like. Um, and they want some financial freedom, some time freedom, location freedom, but they're not quite sure how to get to that. Let's look at your story a little bit. If you could share, how'd you get into what you're doing now?
Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning. I started in construction when I was about 17, coming out of high school, didn't know what to do. So that is something that my parents did at the time. But growing up wasn't really that easy. About when I was 9, so my mom kind of needed to raise my brother and I on her own because things weren't safe. We moved
Mm,
around a lot, from living to shelter to starting over. So I saw her rebuild more times than I can even count.
wow, wow. Okay, okay. So up until 17, where what was she a single mom and it was just you, her, and your brother?
Yeah, definitely. We ended up leaving with the clothes on our backs when, with all of that,
Wow.
she started her own business as well in the flooring industry. So that's why I was able to get into construction because that was her background.
Gotcha, gotcha. So,
Yeah.
did you during this time, did you go to college after high school? What did that look like?
So no, this is another reason I went to my dad because he wasn't in the picture. I asked him, "Hey, can you help me out pay for college because I want to do something with my life?" He said no. So that no was the I didn't know it was going to change my whole life. I ended up, he put me as a subcontractor in one of the companies he used to work for and
Hmm.
basically go for it.
Okay, okay. What were you wanting to study when you were wanting to go to college?
So I loved animals since I was a kid, so I really wanted to become a veterinarian, and that
Uh,
was what I thought of myself as a kid and in high school. That didn't go as planned.
yeah. Okay, so you had plans and visions for that. Your dad kind of thrusted you into the construction business. So how's that, what did that look like? What did you struggle with hurdles? Was it just kind of easy because your mom had a flooring business? What did that transition to full on construction look like?
So I ended up having to be hands-on. That's how I learned. By the time I was like 25, that's when I had my business going. But what helped me was that I worked alongside real estate agents at the time and investors, where they asked me, "Do you know how to paint instead of just doing flooring? Do you know how to do drywall? Do you know how to do anything else?" And I said no, but if they were willing to give me an opportunity to learn, I would, do the
Nice.
painting and drywall in this case and charge half the price, and that was my hook. Then I would learn, I spent hours learning. It was not easy. It was a lot of headaches,
Right.
but kept stacking more trades. So I traded knowledge for money at that time too.
Nice. So you're basically bartering. bartering and
Yeah.
getting some skills, getting experience. So you, it sounds like you didn't necessarily work for your father. He put you in someone else's business.
So no, I had to get my own insurance. I had to get my own um, everything that you need to get for a business. I didn't know what I was doing at the time either. I had to get the tax ID number, the insurances they asked for at the subcontractor. So technically, you had to own your own business. So I had to do all of that at 17 and not knowing how to do all that. I would ask questions. The company that I worked for was like a mom and pop shop where they got all the contracts, and I would ask them, hey, how do I do this and how do I do that? Because it benefited them for me to have everything in order because I'm making them money. So I always kind of worded it and positioned myself to benefit the other person all the time, to solve their
No.
problem without
Yeah, yeah.
knowing that that's what I was doing.
Nice. So you were, and that's negotiations there where you, and leading in with value, like, hey, I'm not just asking, hey, what helped me learn this, but what can I do that serves you? That's awesome. So you did, and you were doing that from 17. Like you were learning these high level skills at 17. How have you been, like, what are you doing now? Are you still working for, what are you doing now?
So now I end up, growing. At 25 and to 26, I ended up leaving my business because I was in a relationship that didn't
Oh,
like me
okay.
being so much working that much, and I have my daughter as well. So I was like, you know what? I made all of
Uh,
this. Let me focus on my family. I walk away from the business. Then this person ends up leaving, so then I have to start over, right? But I wanted to start over
wow.
very different because this is a male dominated field. It asked
Oh yeah.
me to basically match the energy. And I was, I was very aggressive. I was just like another guy in the field. So this time around, I wanted to completely change that aspect of it, where I wanted to be myself,
Okay.
be a coach, be able to mentor. So now we have a big team. I have now, one of my best friends, she is the general manager to my business. I have another friend that she's our admin assistant. And now
Nice.
I have just finished, or we're training somebody else to take my position in the field. So my business is now running without me being there
Nice.
all the time. It's about like 90%. So that allowed me to buy back my time to do other things like get more into real estate, be with my family, and have these podcasts like we're having right now. This 2 years ago, this would have never been had any time to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't have had the time, the freedom. Awesome. So you're, man, so it sounds like one of your big hurdles were like basically rebuilding, building from ground zero after that partner left. What what made you keep going?
So I ended up making a promise with myself. It felt like maybe the lowest point in my life, but it was an eye opening situation where I was like, nothing is going to get in my way, not even myself. So I just kept working. I followed the same
Yeah.
blueprint that I did before and just did that again. And I even surpassed what I did back then. Back then, I was probably making like maybe
Wow.
250,000 to now ending 2025 1.5, 1.6 mil. So from there to there, I never thought that that was going to be me. I never knew. I just kept going. I just kept going to the next thing, the next thing. Like putting my emotions aside, putting other people's problems aside. Like I had to keep going. I was like, I had a goal in mind. I'm going to reach it. And when I reach it, I want to surpass it. And I did. I sat down with my accountant and we did all
Yeah.
the math. And I didn't even realize that that's what we did. And I'm like, what? I was like, I made it. Now it's time for the
Wow.
next level. And what did that mean? It meant real estate. It meant investing that money that I worked with my two hands. So that really pushed me to, I was like, okay, what's the next thing? And that's how
Yeah.
I run into Pace. Watched his videos, got into going to Squat Up Summit. I'm like mind blown
Mm.
by all these people that are also in that same mindset, the same grind, the same like I want to do something better for
Yep.
me and for my family. Yeah. So no stopping or quitting.
Wow. Wow. So you,
That doesn't exist.
yeah, yeah. So you just on. Yeah, you just pressed on. So you pressed on, you didn't quit. And I think a lot of people they they're not able sometimes to see what's on the other side of not quitting. You get me? Like they can't really see sometimes the reward, or if they do see the reward, they just see that it's really hard to get there. But just from your story, like when you push through the hard, when you make it through that hurdle, that mountain that's too hard to climb, like there is a spring on the other side that you can drink from and be satisfied at. And so you push forward on that. It it's in another episode we're gonna talk some about what you're doing in your business, but what
Hmm.
and how you're. It sounds like you're at a place where you're scaling now. You're replacing yourself. You got operations. Things are going without you, and so that's super awesome. Super awesome.
Yeah. Thank
And so,
I do want to say that there's a lot of people that think that this is not possible, and I agree. So I love that you have this opportunity to be able to share, because that's what I'm doing now with my team. I'm teaching them. I want to learn how to be a better mentor, a better coach, to bring people to the position that I was and push them there, so I can push myself to the next phase. So another thing is that I also think that nobody's gonna come save us. We have to put in that kind of work, you know. I went from living in a van with my
yeah.
daughter for a period of time to now building a $1 million business passing. So, you know,
Wow.
if you just keep going, follow our
Wow. From rags
blueprints,
to
not just
riches.
mine, Ronald's. Yeah.
Wow. 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 So, I mean, your situation was much tougher then. I mean, I'm sure you could probably talk about all the hardships, but you were able to have a vision for you, have a vision for your daughter, and that propelled you to push forward. What was there a moment where you felt you could have quit, and what made you keep going? I know you said like not stop, but look back, like was there a day, was there a contract that busted, was there something that bad quality of work and you had to go back? Like was there a moment you almost quit, but you're like, you know what? Let me keep going.
You know, when people ask me this question, it's a very interesting concept. I take things that are going to make you want to feel like quitting as a challenge. Like, oh, like the
Uh,
world telling you, "Oh, really? You don't want to do this?" It's like you have to be have a mental concept. Like quitting for me doesn't equate the same to a lot of people. I feel like everything is endurance based and strengthening, because there's always
oh,
going to be something in life that's going to push you back. It's going to be some obstacle every single time, but it's like every single one of those is going to make you stronger for the next one and the next one. So that's how I took every part where I felt like I wanted to quit or just give up. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get better. And then my reason why was my daughter. I'm like, she was the reason that really propelled, like you said, me to keep going. So even now when the things come up, I'm like, oh, it's just another day. Like we
yeah,
have to solve this. Another problem we need to solve. Because you're always gonna lose money.
yep,
You're
yep.
always there's always gonna be these things. So it is, what are we gonna do in those moments to learn from and try again. Get up
Mm,
and try again, because we're gonna fall. I fell. Like we can sit and talk about all those times, but What matters is getting up. Get up.
Yeah, yeah. So just getting back. It's not how many times you fall, it's how many times. It's if you get up the last time. I think the one quoted. So you've been able to get up. You've been able to push forward. What you mentioned you were listening to YouTube and stuff, and you ran into pace more because you. It sounds like your life has kind of just been okay. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Keep going. Keep going. How'd you get a hold of Pace Morby, and what did he unlock for you that made you go further?
This one's funny because I end up having to look for my own home. So it was
Oh,
time for
okay.
me. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I want to buy my own house. So I didn't realize that I ended up doing a sub 2 originally without even knowing I was doing a subject 2, right? I
Nice.
went to somebody and I had offered this, this position, this deal years ago. This older couple that we knew, I was like, hey, if you ever decide to sell, please sell it to me. It was a beautiful home. I drove in and I was like, this is my house. This is
Mm,
going to be my house. And that
yeah.
was 2 years in advance of that. So I did that deal. Then I'm like, oh man, now I need to look for a loan. I've never gotten a loan before. So I'm like looking on YouTube how to get a loan, how to do this,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
run into Pace. And I love his way of communicating. He
Yeah.
doesn't sugarcoat anything. He tells you things as they are. And I was like, I like this man. And then I got chewed out by him too, a few times. So I'm like, bring it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear because I know I'm going to grow. So then that's when I signed up for sub 2 and I was like, this is where I need to be. This is what's going to help me get to
Wow.
where I want to be. So then I got a loan for the house that I was essentially did a subject to deal on and made it
Nice,
into a
nice.
Morby method. I didn't even know it was existed.
Look at that. So you
I'm
did
over
a that's high level.
I'm like, what is going on? Like, and then he just put the words to it. So that's how I
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up getting into the community.
Nice, nice. So you did a high level deal, a sub two, because you were looking for your own personal residence. What are you so for those listening now, they hear all that, they see all that, and I want to kind of land the plane for them so they can kind of see what's on the horizon and what is possible. You're a single mom. You had a rough upbringing before you even had a child, and built a business. It went to the ground because of a partnership leaving. Had to rebuild, and you were, I mean, when on your heyday, you were making 250 a year. You grew that to 1.6, and you didn't even realize it. For those listening, Aurelie, what can you say? Like they're in the grind right now. They're going through their hard, they're tough right now, and not the heart of building a business. The heart of I'm stuck in my W-2 or I'm stuck not knowing what to do. What can you say to them to push forward with their situation?
Man, I'm putting myself in their position. Being stuck somewhere you don't want to be, being mistreated. So I completely understand their feelings and with what they're thinking. But you can't stop something that's making your money today, that's taking care of you right now. Don't don't lose the
Yeah.
focus. Stay there, push through. You're not going to sleep for a few years, trust me, and you're not going to like it. But you have to work that full time and work another full time because that's when
Mm,
you're going to make it happen. And you have to continue even if you're tired. Like if you're tired, remember why you're doing it. You're trying to do this for yourself. Because one more thing that I'll remind everybody, owning your own business is not as easy as it seems. You're going to be working, and now you're training yourself to work that much because it's going to
right.
feel like two, three jobs, maybe even more. It just looks nicer from the side, like, oh, they have their own schedule or they're making money. But that takes time and it takes years and patience. So I say keep going. You're going to do it if your goal and if you're willing to work for it, you're going to get it. So please keep going. I believe in you. Ronald believes in you. Come talk
Exactly.
to us. We'll encourage you every time you feel down. Come in. We'll give you energy and take it back and just
Boom,
keep pushing.
boom. Keep pushing. You heard it here first. Guys, in order for you to build a life worth living, it's gonna be hard. But how are diamonds made? Under pressure. And so you gotta push forward. You gotta make it through the hard and realize that there is joy on the opposite side. Areli, thanks for being here. How can people get a hold of you? What's your social media handles?
Oh, so everything I do is on Instagram. That is how I communicate with people. It is
Perfect.
Areli, uh, SOLNIS. That's my name. Hopefully, we can put it somewhere. Come follow with me on my journey. I'm trying to do more videos there too, encouragement, and looking into businesses to get them to, to the next hurdle, opening up their mind, throwing a little bit of gems in there for them to grow. Because I want to see people grow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. Do what's needed to build that life and start by going through your hard. We'll catch you on the next episode.